What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Talkin Sports with Jake. We're doing some more sports talk today. As always, we actually have some breaking news. As we all heard a week or two ago, the owner of the Phoenix Suns, as well as the women's basketball team, the Phoenix Mercury, Robert Sarver, was suspended for the NBA suspended him for the upcoming season and fined him $10 million. Some people thought suspension should have been a little bit more because the reason is that over the years he was found that he was very racist and misogynistic to his employee. He did not treat female employees the right way. He has repeated racial slurs multiple times. Some really, really horrific stuff. Some people thought he should have. Some people thought he should have got kicked out. Some people thought the 1 year was definitely a little bit light. And there's breaking news. Robert Sarver has announced that he is in the process of trying to sell both the Phoenix Suns and as well as the Phoenix Mercury. So the Phoenix Suns appear to be for sale, as is the WNBA franchise, the Phoenix Mercury. Robert Sarver is in the process of selling them both. Well, he's in the process of trying to find a buyer. So the plan is to sell both of his teams that he has the majority stake in. So that's some basketball news. We had some news in the NHL. Before I get to that, I want to just Titans talk. Comment in the chat. The pitchers are letting Pujols hit home runs. I mean, it depends. If I'm on the Pittsburgh Pirates, I might do the same thing. I would like to see him get to 700 before he retires. This is his last year. Malay comes full circle with him returning to St. Louis. He needs 2 more to get to 700. He's already passed A-Rod for fourth most of all time. 700 would make him the fourth player ever to have 700 career home runs. He won't catch Babe Ruth unless he plays next year. Ruth's at 714 for all time. But honestly, I can see it. It depends who it is. If they're playing the Brewers, who are 2.5 games in a playoff spot, I don't see why they would do that, because the Brewers can still make the playoffs. If they're playing the Pirates, I mean, the Pirates are already eliminated from the playoffs. The Pirates suck. They might as well. Titans talk to Barry Bonds to go. That's a fair statement. My pick would be Babe Ruth, but Barry Bonds is at least top 5. The fact that he's not in the Hall of Fame is a joke. Steroids my backside. Guy had like 768 home runs, whatever he had. He had 70 home runs in one season. Give me a break with that. We had a couple of NHL players announce retirement. We had 3 veteran defensemen announce retirement. We had Zdeno Chara retire at the age of God knows what. He looks like he's about 58 years old. And honestly, last year played like he was about 78. But he has announced retirement. He had an incredible career, mainly with the Boston Bruins. Also, he started for the Islanders and it came full circle, playing his last year for the Islanders last year. PK Subban, former Montreal Canadien, Nashville Predator, and New Jersey Devil, he retired after 13 seasons. He was a free agent. No one signed him. He decided to hang up his cleats, or his skates, I should say. And Keith Yandel also retired. One of the true Ironmen of the NHL. So a little surprised by Subban and Yandel. Chara, I kind of saw it coming. Last couple of years, Chara's been going back and forth. Should I retire? Do I not? He's in his 40s. He had an incredibly long and successful career. He was captain of the Boston Bruins for a very long time. Won a Stanley Cup there. He had a very good career. Kudos to him. Subban was a great player. At one point, he was one of the league's top D-men. I am not a fan of him at all. I think he's kind of a scumbag, to be honest, but he was a great player. I think part of the reason he retired, one, he was not the same player anymore. He's past his prime. He did not play great the last couple of years. He played for the New Jersey Devils. Also, he's gotten into TV. At one point, he had a hockey game show that was on that I watched. I thought it was very entertaining. I'm not sure if he still does that. They've had him on different shows like Get Up, and he seems like a guy who's got a very good personality. And although I don't like him, he is a bright guy and he is good on TV. So maybe some networks were calling him, kind of calling his name. Maybe he liked the money that he was seeing. Clearly, he's good at it. And he's all right. First of all, he is not signed to a team. Training camp is some teams have already started training camp, and those that have not start either today or sometime in the next couple of days. So it's training camp, and he's not even signed yet. But by the time, even if he does get signed, he's going to have to hit the ground running. He's going to miss at least the first bit of training camp. He's not that good anymore. There's probably not like a cup contender that may need him or is calling for him, and if anything, he would probably just cut paste at this point in his career. So he figured, I've had a great career. Let's hang it up and let's go do TV full time. And I don't like the guy, but one, he was a great player. Two, I think he's a very good hockey analyst. And Keith Yandel played for a bunch of teams. Started in Arizona with the Coyotes, played for the Rangers, played for my New York Rangers for a couple of years. He was in Florida. He last couple of years didn't play as much, but he was always a really good player, really good on the power play, really solid defenseman. He had like a crazy games play streak, was like over 900 games in a row. He played something like that. One of the true Ironmen of the NHL. He had a very good career as well. And Titan Soft, going back to Barry Bonds, said, people act like Bonds wasn't good before steroids. That's very true. And also, I know he was steroid, but the guy had 768 whatever he did home runs. The guy has the most home runs by any player ever. He's 13 clear of Hank Aaron. Like, how much does steroids matter for that? The dude hit 70 home runs in a season. So put it this way: Aaron Judge has 60 right now. He's got about 11 or 12 games left, and he's at 60. So Bonds is doing what Judge is doing, and he had 10 more home runs. Of course, Judge still has like 11 or 12 games left. But so he might end up, let's say, 62, 65, probably between 62 and 65. But Bonds is doing what Judge did, but even more. Judge is gonna come within maybe 5 of Bonds, if that. That's how crazy his year is. And Titan Soft said, you need good plate spin to hit that many home runs. Yes, and he also drew the most walks of any player in the league. Because one, he had an incredible eye, which is very impressive for a guy that, obviously is always swinging for the fences. And two, no one wanted to pitch to the guy. The dude is still really famous for being walked intentionally with the bases loaded. Teams would rather give up a run than pitch to the dude because they knew no matter where they pitched him, the ball was going to end up in the bleachers. Yeah, he was an incredible player. He's put to you this way: most players on steroids couldn't hit nearly as well as Bonds did. Bonds did even off steroids. Not in the Hall of Fame. My back. That's a joke. He's on the Hall of Fame. Come on, really? That's a joke. Moving on to football, I'm gonna do some game picks. We'll start with college football. I may just breeze through because some of these games are freaking ridiculous. First of all, Georgia's the number one team in the country. They're playing Kent State. I didn't even know Kent State had a football team. Georgia's probably gonna win like 52-10 or something. They'll roll in that game. 4-seeded Michigan against Maryland. Michigan should roll. An ACC matchup, 5-seeded Clemson against 21-seeded Wake Forest. Both teams are 3-0. I think Wake Forest could put up a little bit of a fight, but Clemson should still win with not too much trouble. 14-seeded Penn State versus Central Michigan. Penn State, I got Penn State in that one. 17-seeded Baylor against Iowa State. I got Baylor. 24-seeded Pitt against Rhode Island. Pittsburgh wins that one. This is a good game. 3:30 on CBS. 20-seed Florida against 11-seed Tennessee. I'm going with Tennessee. Florida lost last week. I'm going with Tennessee. 22-seed Texas against unranked Texas Tech. Of course, a rivalry game with them both being from Texas. Longhorns are definitely a fraud every year, but they should beat Texas Tech. Texas Tech is not very good. They were not good when they had Patrick Mahomes. Without him, you can imagine, I don't know how they win any games. 25-seed Miami against Middle Tennessee. Miami after a hot start. Their first 2 games, their offense ran into a wall last week and they took a loss, but they should easily beat Middle Tennessee. 15-seed Oregon against Washington State. I'll take Oregon. They've looked good since their tough opening week loss to Georgia 49-3. 16-seed Ole Miss against Tulsa. Ole Miss should win that one, no problem. 8-seed Kentucky against Northern Illinois. I got Kentucky. Northern Illinois is not good, and Kentucky has looked really good. They're 8th in the country for a reason. This is a good game. 7 o'clock on ESPN2. Excuse me, 7 o'clock on ESPN. The ESPN2 game is the Kentucky game. 10-seed Arkansas versus 23-seed Texas A&M. I'm going to take Arkansas on that one. Texas A&M, they lost to Appalachian State. They paid Appalachian State $1.5 million to beat them in their building. Like, that's embarrassing. Arkansas, I got Arkansas on that one. 2-seed Alabama versus Vanderbilt. Why is Alabama playing Vanderbilt? That should not be a matchup. Alabama's going to win 67 to -5. Vanderbilt's going to get negative points in that game. That's going to be a blowout. 3-seed Ohio State against Wisconsin. In a Big 12 matchup, I got Ohio State. They're going to overpower Wisconsin. Now on 12-seed North Carolina State against UConn. Funny story, I have a friend who goes to NC State and a friend who goes to UConn. But NC State should win that no problem. They look very good this year. Week 1, they won basically on a missed extra points, so that wasn't that impressive, but they've looked really good the last 2 weeks. UConn's football team isn't good. 6-seed Oklahoma against Kansas State. Oklahoma should breeze in that one. 7-seed USC against Oregon State. Pac-12 matchup, I got USC. USC's look really good. Look like they'll win the Pac-12 this year. 19-seed BYU against Wyoming. BYU should win that one. They've looked pretty good this year, considering what the record usually is. 13-seed Utah against Arizona State in a Pac-12 matchup. Arizona State just fired their coach, Herm Edwards, who, of course, played in the NFL for the Eagles. Also was head coach of the New York Jets at one point. He was fired last week after they lost and they started off 1-2. Utah should win no problem. And 18-seed Washington against Stanford in the Pac-12 game. I'm taking Washington. Those are my college game picks. Now for my NFL game picks. Week 3, Bills-Dolphins at 1 o'clock. The 2 top teams in the AFC East. I'm taking the Bills. Dolphins had a big comeback last week, overcoming a 3-touchdown deficit in the fourth quarter against Baltimore. Tua had 460-plus yards and 6 scores. Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill both had nearly 200 yards and two scores each. But the Bills, I'm much of anyone's beating the Bills here. I'm taking Buffalo in that game. Bengals, Jets. My New York Jets faced the Bengals. So Jets week 1 looked really bad, but last week we were able to make an incredible comeback to beat Cleveland. Cincinnati has struggled. Their offense has looked rough. I know we got Titans talking in the chat. Is he still here? He is not. That's a shame because Titans talk might be. Joe Burrow might be Titans talk least favorite person on the planet. He hates that man. He hates Joe Burrow with a flame. He hates Joe Burrow so much. He thinks he's so bad. But Burrow's got 5 turnovers in his first 2 games. They're all in one game. He had 5 turnovers in week 1. Last week, under 200 yards, only 1 touchdown. I believe he has only 3 touchdowns against 5 turnovers in his first 2 games. Bengals are 0-2. Patrick just laughed my ass off. Titans talker, he doesn't like Burrow yet. He does not. Not a fan of Joe Burrow. I think just killing the game. Flacco looked better last week. Gary Wilson had a big game. But I am going to take the Bengals to beat the Jets. Part of me, I wonder if it's good luck because I picked the Jets to beat the Ravens week 1 and they got crapped on. And I picked the Browns to beat the Jets last week and the Jets won. So maybe when I pick against the Jets, they'll win. When I pick against them, maybe that's some sort of reverse psychology. But I hope the Jets win. Of course, I'm a diehard Jets fan, but a little Bengals are struggling. Although it's a winnable game, I think it will be close. I think the Bengals will pull that one off. They also couldn't stop the run last week, and Joe Mixon's a very good running back. Got Raiders and Titans, 2 struggling 0-2 teams. I'm going to take the Raiders. If Hunter Renfrow hadn't fumbled, good chance the Raiders may have been able to pull that one out. The Titans look weak. Ryan Tannehill is struggling. His first year and a half, the Titans, he looked great. Since last year, he really hasn't played that well. Derrick Henry's off to a slow start. The AFC South looks brutal right now. The Raiders, I'm not sold on them whatsoever. They lose week 1. You lose to the Chargers, and last week you blow a 20-point lead to Arizona. But I think they beat the Titans. So I think the Raiders get their first win. Saints against the Panthers. I'm going to take the Saints. The Carolina's offense looks brutal. Baker Mayfield, I do not think will be a starter next season anywhere. The Saints, James Winston clearly is playing through a back injury. But even if Alvin Kamara's out, I think Mark Ingram can be a very steady presence. He's been with New Orleans a long time. They still got a great defense and a good O-line. They got some weapons with Michael Thomas, who's looked really good his first 2 games back in over a year. Jarvis Landry has looked good. Chris Olave, the rookie, played well last week. So I'll take the Saints in this one. Ravens, Patriots, that's a good game. Ravens week 1 beat the Jets. They obviously haven't looked fantastic. Week 1, they won 24-9. But that was more the Jets just playing absolutely egregious. they made some mistakes that game. That being said, they should get back J.K. Dobbins probably in a limited fashion, but he should play in this game. That will help the running attack take a little bit of pressure off Lamar. They can run the ball a little bit more, which is their game. The Patriots' defense has played very well, but their offense hasn't looked great. They scored just 7 points against Miami and then just 17 to win last week over Pittsburgh. So I think the Ravens' defense is going to limit New England's offense, and I think the Ravens get that one. And another reason why the Titans are going to lose, their all-pro left tackle Taylor Lewan, who had a major knee injury in their game week 2, might be out for the year. They lost pieces this offseason, including their top receiver, A.J. Brown, who might be top 5 in the game. And their top pass rusher, Harold Landry, who had over 12 sacks last year, he tore his ACL right before the season, and now they may lose their best O-lineman. So in the offseason, they lose their 2 best receivers. Their top edge rusher is out for the season. Now their top O-lineman will be out for the season. This is literally going to be the Derrick Henry show for Tennessee. Lions and Vikings at 1 o'clock. Okay, Lions, their offense has looked incredible. Jared Goff has played pretty well. They got so many good weapons. Amon-Ra St. Brown is a beast. He got Patrick saying go Lions. He's a big Lions fan. Apologies to Patrick. I am going to take the Vikings. They look like crap against Philly, but in primetime, Kirk Cousins is guard. When he's not in primetime, he is a very good quarterback. They got a lot of weapons. Although the Lions' offense has looked very impressive, their defense has struggled. I think the Vikings are going to score a lot of points. Justin Jefferson's going to be very angry after only having 1 catch in their last game. So I think the Vikings come out motivated. I think they pick up a win. Eagles against the Commanders. I'm taking Eagles. Carson Wentz it's weird. At times, he looked really good. He's had over 400 yards and at least 3 scores each of his first 2 games. At times, he's looked really good. At times, he's struggled. So he's been a little inconsistent. The Eagles defense struggled against Detroit week 1, but played very well against Minnesota last week. Their offense looks completely reborn. Jalen Hurts is off to a good start. Chase Young is still up for Washington. I'll take Philly in that one. Chiefs and Colts should be a good game. I'm going to take Kansas City. The Colts have looked terrible. Matt Ryan looks completely washed. This is not the same team. They lost 24-0 to Jacksonville. That's embarrassing. The Chiefs still look really good despite losing Tyreek Hill. Mahomes looks like Mahomes. They still got some good weapons. Their defense looks a lot better. I think they forced Matt Ryan to make some mistakes. I'll take Kansas City. Texans and the Bears. Oh, God. Texans-Bears. I don't know why that's a matchup, but okay. I'm going to take Houston. Chicago was able to steal one against the Niners in week 1 in that very sloppy game. They lost last week to the Packers. I thought put up a decent fight. But Houston also put up a good fight against the Denver Broncos. So I think it'll be not that exciting of a game. These are 2 of the worst teams in the league, but I'll take Houston. Davis Mills has actually looked pretty good. I think we should give this guy a chance. Jaguars and Chargers is a 4:05. I'm taking the Chargers. Jacksonville has looked good. Trevor Lawrence has looked completely different. They're definitely much better coached with Doug Peterson. Can't get any worse than Urban Meyer, but they seriously are much better, well coached. I like what I see from Christian Kirk. The defense is still not amazing, but it's not abysmal. They did shut out the Colts last week. I think the defense is a lot better. But the Chargers, they're the real deal. I know Herbert's playing through a rib injury, but he's Justin Herbert. He's got so many pieces over there. They should have Keenan Allen back. They almost beat the Chiefs last week. I think they get revenge, and they beat the Jaguars. 4:25, Rams, Cardinals, and the NFC West battle. The Rams haven't looked fantastic. They got squashed by the Bills to open the year. And last week, almost blew a 28-3 lead against Atlanta. That would have been hilarious if Atlanta came back from a 23 deficit. That almost happened. Mariota threw a pick at the end of the game to Jalen Ramsey. If that would end up being a touchdown, Falcons would have won that game. I'm taking the Rams, though. I am. I trust in Stafford and Kupp and all those guys. I think Aaron Donald's going to get some pressure on Kyler Murray. Arizona might be down their top back, James Conner. They're already looking into their receiver with Hopkins suspended and Rondale Moore still out. So I'll take the Rams. Packers-Bucks should be possibly the game of the week at 4:25. interesting. Both teams I think could be better. Green Bay, of course, looked horrible week 1 against Minnesota, and even against the Bears. I mean, if the right call was made, and if either the Bears did an actual good formation on the goal line, didn't go on the shotgun from the half-yard line, or the correct call was made on that QB draw, we would have said, maybe at most, Packers only won by 10, could be better. They haven't looked fantastic. And Tampa, right, you beat Dallas 19-3. I'm not impressed with you beating the Cowboys in week 1. Cowboys do not look good right now, especially on offense. And then this past week they looked, they were okay, I guess. So both, you could argue, two top teams in the NFC who both haven't looked great. I'm going to take Green Bay, actually. I think, these young receivers are only going to get better. I do believe the receiving core will get better for Green Bay. They still got Aaron Rodgers, who of course, will still make some tough throws, although Tampa can get a lot of pressure on him. That's been happening the last couple of years, and Aaron Rodgers has won MVP the last 2 years. Packers defense looks very good. Tampa won't have Mike Evans in this game, or Chris Godwin. Chris Godwin, I doubt, is going to come back from his injury. It's in a few weeks for him. Evans is suspended, so Tampa is already banged up on the O-line. Now they're banged up at receiver, so I'll take Green Bay. Falcons and Seahawks, another kind of a toilet bowl. Seattle, surprised everyone by beating Denver, but then lost to the Niners last week. And the Falcons almost came back down 28-3. I'm going to take Atlanta, actually. Mariota has looked okay. He has looked okay. Drake London, I like him. He played well last week. I think Kyle Pitts finally shows up. Yeah, I think they win a battle of two low average teams there. Sunday Night Football, 49ers Broncos should be a good game. Trey Lance, their third overall pick last year, he's out for the year. Jimmy Garoppolo is now the starter for the rest of the year. Funny how that works out. Playing Denver, who has not looked, their offense is brutal. It's absolutely terrible. They've scored just 16 points each of their first 2 games. Not combined, but in each game. And what's going on there? I am going to take Denver. The 49ers are definitely comfortable with Jimmy G. I think the offense will be fine, but they are banged up by running back. As they seem to always be. Ellie Mitchell was hurt. Now they lose Tyrone Davis-Price, who played well. You lose him, so now it's down to Jeff Wilson and Jordan Mason, the only 2 backs you already have. George Kittle, I'm not sure if he's going to play. He hasn't played the first 2 games. And I think Denver's offense is due to wake up at some point. Russell Wilson is still a great quarterback. They got plenty of weapons. If they had a better wake up, or he's going to be one and done there. He's not off to a good start. So I'm going to take Denver. Then Cowboys-Giants on Monday Night Football. Right, I can't stand the Cowboys. Their offense has not looked good. Of course, Dak's out. They're depleted on the O-line. Michael Gallup hasn't played the first 2 games. He should play this week, but he'll be limited. But I am going to take Dallas on Monday Night Football. The Giants are 2-0. The defense just played great, but they still haven't looked great offensively. By the way, Kenny Galladay played 2 snaps last week. 4 years, $72 million. A 4-year deal. He's getting $18 million a year. That's one of the worst free agent signings ever, possibly. Their offense still hasn't looked great. Cowboys have 8 sacks the first 2 games. Giants O-line still isn't fantastic, so I think they'll get a lot of pressure on Daniel Jones, force him to make some mistakes. I still have confidence in them. If Saquon Barkley wasn't quite as good as he was week 1 last week, I'll take Dallas in an NFC East showdown on the night. It should be a real good tight nail biter, I think. Those are my game picks. That's all I have for you guys today. Sorry about no NHL preview this week. That will be Tuesday of next week. I promise it will happen. Season starts in a couple weeks for NHL, so my NHL preview Tuesday of next week. That's all I got for you guys today. Until next time, so long, and have a great day.